So did you guys look at the post, which I think, what was the name? Someone posted about the Nova crackdown. So I think they tried to. So I think Srinath and Dan Bonet wrote this paper, and they showed that using these cycles of curves, like some implementation wasn't correct. So yeah, so within their current code implementation, it was very easy to it was easy to forge a proof. So I think right now they have changed their code base. Yeah, but I think the security of Nova is still intact. Like in their paper, I was reading one of his tweet, and then Srinath said that in their paper, they do not assume any security assumptions from the cycles of for using these cycles. But in their code, they use this, and then there was some issue with it. So wait, why am I going back? So yeah, so last time we discussed about recursive snarks, and we saw that how we can compose these two-level snarks where we have one inner proof, and there is an outer proof and a verifier which uses this inner proof system. And if you remember that the outer prover was using the verifier circuit as its circuit, so it needed the verifier circuit to generate the outer proof. And it turns out that when we keep this verifier circuit inside our recursive snarks, there is much more computational overhead, like because we have to do some arithmetic over this verifier circuit, and these verifier circuits are defined over some polynomial commitment, and so that's why it becomes very expensive to do these verification circuits inside our snark, inside our recursive snark. So Halo paper and the Halo code base, what they do is that they take some part of this verification out of the circuit, and this makes the recursive snarks much more simpler. And Nova takes this to a much more further by taking almost all of verification circuit outside the circuit, outside this proof system. Yeah, so Guru, I'm not sure how. So in Halo, do they take yeah? So do they break down this verifier circuit and take some part outside and some inside? So my question is that in Halo recursive proof system, do they break this verifying circuit and take one part outside and one part inside the recursive?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, because in Hello paper, they use so-called IPA bulletproof inner product argument. So the symptotic complexity of verifier is ON, because there's one statement is costly to verify. Is saying it's kind of folding a vector of base element. So the verifier has to fold by himself. So basically, Hello says that the verifier can delegate that task to the Hello paper, the authors argue that this part of the computation, I mean cost of ON, can be computed in public. Then they found a way to aggregate multiple instances together. So that's basically the idea. The idea actually was from another paper called Sonic. And yeah, the guy named Shambo from the ZKstudy team was the co-author of Sonic paper. So I think that when they were working on Sonic, they got that basic idea. Then they improved that idea into that, okay, we can do better performance recursive snaps by this simple idea that yeah, I think yeah, that's a basic yeah, it's easily can aggregate that part of work caused the ON, but the rest of part of the verifier is just O log n. So yeah, so this split the verifier work into two parts.
And the part which is done outside, is it? It's so the inside part is all log n.
Yeah, O log n.
Okay. So it's less than linear. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So. So now, in a folding scheme is defined over some two r1cs instance in case of Nova, and maybe some Plonkish instance in some other framework. And the basic idea is that we take two of these instances and convert into one. So we'll see in a bit how we'll see in a bit that any circuit can be represented as an r1cs, and so the protocol is over here. So the prover has this public instance, which is not public instance. So the prover takes in x, which xi, which are the statement, w, which are the witness, and 1, and I is 1, 2, 1 and 2. So we can sum these. So we take these two folding instances and try to, and the prover outputs one final instance, which is just x, which is the statement again, and witness, and 1. And the prover in the protocol would usually send some value t. We'll see what this value is in a bit, and then the verifier would give a challenge with some random r, and the verifier would just take in the statements, which is x1 and x2, and then output a folding of x. So this folding scheme is said to be complete if the initial instances were satisfied the property of completeness. So if the initial instances, instance 1 and 2 were complete, which this would result in our overall instance or the final instance being also complete. And this is again knowledge sound, as we discussed last time, that for any malicious prover, we can have an extractor which can extract this omega1 and the witness 1 and witness 2 from this prover. So this construction is just like the recursive snarks that we talked about with some modification. So as you saw before, our protocol is still is interactive, right? Verifier is sending some random challenge. So how do we make this non-interactive system? So we try to replace the verifier and make this one-way protocol by replacing this random number, which is sent by the verifier, as a hash function of the statements, which is known to the public. So x1 and x2, and also t. And we'll see what this t is in a bit. And the verifier would just verify the instance, would just verify that the statement was folded correctly. So because we are computing this random number r, we also have to show that r was computed in fact correctly, so that there is no so that the proof is valid. so that no one can force the proof. So now, are there any questions up until now? So let's dive into more details of these folding schemes. So as we discussed, every circuit can be represented as an r1cs instance. So every circuit, so initially we had this X, which was a U tuple over this field element P. And then we had some witness, which was V tuple over field element P. And then this setup can be replaced by ABC matrices, where these matrices are element of, where these are the matrices over defined some field element P. And these matrices should satisfy this relation, which is AZ Hadamard product of BZ equals to CZ. And Z is just our instance and witness pair. So Z is X concatenated, it is concatenated, with X with the witness and 1. So this is a concatenation of the statement, witness, and 1. So now, as we discussed before, folding scheme just takes two instances of these types, so two r1cs instance, and fold it into one. So we have this two instance, a z1 Hadamard product bz1 times cz1, and also there is another instance of where the I is 2, and this should output, this should be folded into one instance where we have this, where the relations, r1cs relation satisfies AZ Hadamard product BZ equals to CZ. So now let's try to see how we can implement this into the protocol. So in the first attempt, we have that our instance is the statement and witness is W, and the prover just computes the Z as a random, as a linear combination, where R is inputted from the verifier. So Z is the Z1 plus R Z2, and Z1 is just X1 plus, and the final Z is just concatenation of X1 plus RX2, W1 plus RW2, and this R. So we just take the values of Z1, Z2 and add them in this linear combination. So now let's try to see whether whether our property holds, or whether the outputted or where the folded instance is still an R1 valid r1cs instance. So we just calculate AZ times VZ, or the Hadamard product of VZ, and when we go through the algebra, we see that there are some cross terms because we have now two Z1s, Z1 and Z2, and this gives us some cross term. So this cross term is represented by this E here, and this is the first problem in our attempt. So because we have a cross term, we cannot write this as just simply C times Z. So as you can see in the final product, we have CZ1 plus R square times CZ2 plus E. So because of this cross term, this cannot be written as a valid r1cs instance. And there are more problems as we go deeper. So there is an extra factor of R over here. So because it is R square, so even if we introduce some slack term like E, which is introduced in the next attempt, we will have to introduce another variable to account for this extra R parameter. So even if we use a variable to account for this extra R parameter, there is one more problem. So if you see, or if you see our Z, which is the concatenation of the statements, witness, and the R. So this is not, we have an extra term of R over here, right? Because initially, if we go back, so Z was defined as this X, omega, and 1. But now when we take a random linear combination, we have this extra R in our final Z. So these are the three problems that we encounter when we try to implement the our first attempt. So in the second attempt, we replaced this r1cs as relaxed r1cs, and again as we discussed over in the previous slide, the cross terms are replaced by this slack vector, which is e, and then we introduce another variable, which is this u, and this would absorb the extra r factor, which was coming in this cz. So this should be cz1 plus r square cz2, and this should also absorb the extra factor in our z. So this will take into the account. So in relaxed r1cs, z is defined as this concatenation of the statement w and a scalar u. So u is a scalar, it's just a field element, and the relaxed r1cs relation becomes now az Hadamard product bz equals to this scalar u that we introduced times cz plus e, where e is again the slack vector. So e is some tuple over this field element. So now in our case, we'll see how the protocol works. And in the protocol, the instance or the public values are the statement, which is xi's, the variable or the scalar, which is ui's, u1 and u2, and then the cross terms, which is u1 and u2. And we have the witness as wi. So now let's see how the protocol works. So in this relaxed r1cs format, the prover first sends the cross terms. So it sends these cross terms which are arising from the random linear combination. So AZ2 Hadamard product BZ1, and then also the factors where we have this U times CZ2. So these cross terms are denoted by this T and this, and the prover sends this to the verifier. So now the verifier takes this or sends a random number as a challenge, and the verifier computes the folded statement, which is x. So x will be x1 plus this rx2, and the folded scalar, which will be u1 plus ru2, and also the folded slack vector. So the folded slack vector will be e1 plus r times t plus r square times e2. So this is why the T was sent by the prover, because it helps the verifier to calculate the folded slack vector. And again, X, U, and E are public values. So both verifier and prover know these values. So that's why the verifier to hold two instances, because he knows X1, U, and also E1 and E2. So once the prover has this random number, he can fold the two r1cs instance and can fold the statement and also the witness, and now he can prove that he knows some secret witness, which lets him calculate the folded r1cs instance or folded relaxed r1cs instance. So any questions up until now? So now let's see how, so now let's verify that this relation indeed holds, that AZ Hadamard product BZ equals to this relaxed r1cs relation. And once we go through the algebra, we see that it is indeed valid. So you can plug in the values of D, E1 and E2 and see that this would actually come out as the relaxed r1cs is valid or is satisfied. But there is a problem that, so if you remember that the prover sent this T, right? So this T actually contains the witness. So why does it? So let me see. So if you see that the T which was sent by the prover, it has these cross terms, and these cross terms are have this parameter of so they have this Z1 and Z2, and Z1 and Z2 actually contain this witness. So if you remember that we defined these Zs as a concatenation of statements, witness, and the scalar. So because we are sending these cross terms, the verifier has access to the witness of the individual instances. So this is a problem because our protocol is not zero knowledge in the sense that verifier knows the witness to the each instances. And there is another problem, which is that the verifier takes the verifier circuit has these public parameters, right? So it has public parameters of statement, the scalar parameter u, and this e. And this E actually depends on the size of the circuit. And because E depends on the size of the circuit, the verification circuit won't be succinct. So if our circuit is large, the verifier circuit will also grow proportional to the circuit. So our protocol won't be zero knowledge, and it also won't be succinct. So are these 2 points clear? Why this protocol is not enough, even if it satisfies the relaxed r1cs relation? So now to remove this so now to solve this problem, what we do is we introduce the commitments to the slack vector and also the witness. So, and these two commitments make sure that our protocol is both zero knowledge and it also is succinct for our purposes. And so now the verifier would work with an instance where the instance contains the statement, the scalar parameter, E, and now E bar represents the commitment, and E, so this is the commitment of the slack vector, and then we also have a commitment to the witness. So this is W bar. So if, as you can see, because we now send a commitment and commitment is always fixed length, it is kind of like a hash function, but yeah, it's fixed length, so it won't grow in the size of the circuit. So even if E is large, the commitment will be succinct or some small size. And now the prover has the witness values as the witness W, and then R, which is RW, which is a scalar used to make a commitment. And then we have another, we have this slack vector E, and then the random number, which is used to make a commitment for this E. So these are the witness values for the prover in our next protocol. So before discussing the protocol, let's just see what kind of commitment will be useful for our purposes. And because we are doing, because we are concerned with addition operations, so because we were adding these e vectors, so that's why we need a commitment which is additively homomorphic. So let's just briefly discuss a bit about homomorphic commitments. So a commitment is just some commitment of some message with some random number r, which we saw before. So, and this will output a commitment, and this commitment is again to verify this commitment, we just need the message, the commitment, and this random number r, and this will just output 0 or 1. So with a commitment, we prove that we know some secret values and that we can open that commitment. And the commitment should be binding, so it should not produce two valid openings, and it should also be hiding, so it should not reveal anything about the data which was committed to. So Go, I think there is a mistake here, right? Because in the verifying of the commitment, it should not have access to this message, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
No. Okay, no. Okay, for commitment verification, that yeah, the verifier needs message here. But actually in ZKSnark or the many applications, we don't have to do commitment verification.
Okay, I see. So I think the verifier is just opening the commitment and checking whether the messages are sent by the prover and the commitment are the same. So yeah, so there is no zero knowledge about this. He's just checking the pre-image of this commitment.
Yeah, just verifier just redo the commitment.
Okay.
Yeah, action. Yeah.
Okay. And we need a homomorphic commitment. So homomorphic commitments are defined using this relation. When we commit with some message m and some random value, and then we add another commitment with some message 2 and some random value, this should be equal to the commitment of the sum of individual message and the individual random values. And obviously, so this commitment should be defined over some additive homomorphic group, and which makes sure that when we add them, the commitment is equal to the commitment afterwards is equal to the sum of messages and the random numbers. And we also have to make sure that the commitment is succinct. So our commitment size should be some constant size in the security parameter. And usually, so some examples of this additive homomorphic commitments are Peterson commitments and some lattice-based commitment schemes. So yeah, so we are probably 2-3 slides away from the final folding scheme. So now in the final folding scheme, we only send the commitment of slack vector E and the witness W, and this commitment is again defined with the slack vector, some random number associated with the slack vector, and some public parameters which is generated for this protocol. And now we have these two instances where the public instance, the first public instance is again x1, u1, where the statement, the scalar parameter, and then the commitments e1 and the witness, and then we just try to we have these two instances, and then we try to fold them to get one final instance, where the instance would satisfy this relaxed r1cs relation. So So the only thing we did from after relaxed r1cs is introduce these commitments. The relation is still the same, and there is some change in the public values and the witness values. So the witness values just contains the slack vector E, the witness, and the random number associated to compute the commitments. So in the final protocol, we have that the prover, which has access, which has these cross terms, now sends a commitment to this cross term. So instead of T, we have this commitment to T, and the verifier knows this commitment. So he does not have access to the witness, the individual witness values of the instances. So yeah, so because the prover sends a commitment, the verifier does not know the witness, and the verifier just sends a random number, and he also calculates the folded public values. So he calculates the folded statement, which is x1 plus rx2, the folded scalar parameter, and also the folded commitments of the slack vector E, and the folded commitment of the witness. So now the slack vector this is computed as commitment of E1 plus R times commitment of T. So yes, so we only need the commitment to compute the slack vector, and then it also adds this R square commitment over the slack vector E2. So the verifier just needs to know the commitment, and using additive homomorphic commitments, we can fold these two instances to get the final instance. So now the prover just folds the witness, the actual witness, which is not a commitment. So he just folds the individual witnesses into a folded witness, and also he folds the random number associated with the commitment, which he sent to the verifier. And then he does the same for the slack vector, so that he computes again the folded slack vectors and the folded version of this random number associated with the slack vector. So yeah, so I think one thing that I did not understand is that because we are adding these commitments, right? So why doesn't why don't we take this random number R inside the commitment? Because when we add them, this should be inside, right? Or yeah.
Okay, I think yes. Yeah, yeah, I think that's it's yeah, I think it holds.
So
when R is a scalar.
okay, so R is scalar, it just comes out of the commitment.
Sorry.
Yes. So when R is a scalar, we don't need to we don't need to commit it in. We don't need to do the commitment operation. It just comes outside.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't. Could you repeat your question? So
yeah. So let me. So we had this commitment relation, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to add this M1 plus M2, we take the commitment of M1 plus commitment of M2, and then take the commitment of the sum of M1 plus M2.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what I'm saying is that so this now M1 plus M2 is our the slack vector E, right? So we have E1 plus R times T plus R squared times E2. So R should also be inside the commitment. So why is outside? Why the R associated with this with this with this T commitment? Why it's not inside the commitment?
Okay. Okay. I think. Okay. R multiply by T, right? Capital T. So you can think of it as a big sum of R number of commitments. So you add them together, just add them up. So basically, it basically equals to RT, commit to RT.
I see.
Yeah, it's still homomorphic.
Okay. Yeah, I think
I think the R here is different from the R in the commitment.
Yes, exactly. So R is different from the R in the commitment. So
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So this is in the commitment, the R is what you can regard R as one dimension of the message. But here the R is actually not. This is for the folding, the random one random element for folding.
Yes.
Random variable for folding. So the R's are different. So here the R cannot be counted in the commitment, cannot be folded.
Yeah, I think my question was just that is the resulting sum homomorphic even if we take this R outside the outside the commitment. Okay. Yeah, so I think my confusion came from, like, I was thinking this commitment is kind of similar to some hash function. So if we have to hash the product of some values, we cannot take one product outside the hash function.
Yeah, it's different.
Because that would change. Okay. So that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So thanks for clearing that.
And here we have to pay attention to the blinder, the random number, the RWRE. So they are the blending factors. So if we take R multiplied by commitment of T, it doesn't equal to RT commitment because if there is randomness there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So these RW and RT are the one which goes inside the commitment.
Yeah, still RW, for example, there is RT, so for example, RT should be also multiplied by R, by the folding factor.
You mean where? Which RT?
Okay, RT, right?
Yeah, the last relation of RE is given by RE1 plus R times RT. This one?
Okay, let's go to the definition of a commitment.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. A commitment actually commit to two parts. The first is message, the second is randomness. Right?
Yes.
So if we multiply them with R outside, right, from outside, a randomness, for example, R, right, or row, we use different notation. So commitment of M1, R1 with a multiplication or multiply all row from outside, then the equation will equal to commitment to R times M1 and row times M1 and row times R1. So commitment to, yeah.
Okay, so it multiplies over the actual message and the blinding, yeah.
Yes, also the blinders, yeah.
Yeah, the blinders. So that was the presentation for the folding schemes, and I think after in the next presentation we will go over the actual NOVA construction, NOVA IVC, and the NOVA group compression construction.
Yes.
So let me pull up the what is this? Yes. So if we, so we covered this section 3 and 4, and So I think these two sections are the IVC, and then and then the last section with how actually they do the ZKstudy of committed r1cs,
Yeah.
and they use the sum check and all these things. Yeah, so I might need your help to go for this last one. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
so
I think section 5. Yeah, it's yeah, we will go through section 5. I think 6 is option, I think.
okay, so section 6 is not useful for, say, suppose hypernova and stuff.
Yeah, section 6 is option. We don't have to pay more attention to it because section 6 is a variant of Spartan.
Okay. So I think after Nova we'll go and talk about hypernova, right? So
yeah, I think section 5 is a lot. There's a lot of things
yeah,
inside.
yeah. I think section 5 is there's a lot going on. So okay, so yeah, so let's do section 5 for next to next week, and then so in hypernova, which sections do we want to cover?
Sorry.
So in hypernova paper, which section do we want to cover? Like 1, 2,
hypernova.
yeah.
Hypernova.
So I think this has so 4 is CCS, the 4th section is CCS, and then the 5th section is multifolding for CCS. So I think this should be covered, and then
I think I think almost all sections should be
okay,
gone through.
Yeah, so we have 6, and then
7.
we have n lookups argument for Nova. Okay, so then let's after Nova we can start this hypernova. And, okay. So after hypernova, do we? Yeah, I think we were talking about going protostar, or I was also thinking maybe we can do like more organized versions. So maybe we can go all the way from like hyperplonk, and then
hyperplonk.
protostar.
Yeah.
So which papers are important to understand protostar, hyperplonk, and are there some other papers like turboplonk, or I don't know? Yeah.
I think hyperplonk is easier to study, and if we want to understand protostar, we have to read 2 papers prior to protostar.
So which are these 2 papers?
BMS 20. Sorry, BCMS 20.
Is this by Boons, Chiesa, and BCMS?
BCMS 20.
I don't think I'll get this from there.
You just Google it. BCMS.
Yeah, I think I should. BC, yeah, I should BCMS.
BCMS 20. Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't think it will come up. Yeah, and let me see Eurocrypt.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's find the title of that paper.
Yeah, I think it will be under protostar. So I'll just stop sharing my screen.
CMS 20. Okay. Proof carrying data from accumulating schemes. The title of that paper.
I see. And then the second paper will be this hyperplonk.
No, second paper is the title is proving carrying data without succinct arguments.
Okay, I have seen. Okay, so how should so we read these 2 papers and then hyper. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, I will send the link in the Telegram group.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to organize. So which one should we read after hypernova, hyperplonk, or these proof carrying papers?
I think I can. Okay, all right. I can present a hypernova or hyperplonk. Okay.
Okay.
I think, yeah, I think Gao
Okay.
maybe can present the BCMS 20 and the BCLMS 2021, something like that.
Okay. So Hyperplonk will be first, and then we go to BSC BCMS, and then the other, and then finally Protostar.
Yes.
Okay.
If you have time, I think Hypernova is okay. Now it's not that hard. And
Yeah, I think yeah, that's what I was saying. I was thinking to go over at least the first 3 sections. So there where the defined is have this preliminaries and then define.
So
So I can do the easy bits, and then you guys take the hard bit.
okay, no problem. I can take over the rest and also the Hyperplonk.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, maybe
Yes.
someone else can join us.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, so I won't take most of your time. Yeah, the presentation is done, and yeah, I think we can meet. Next week. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I don't know if you saw there is this Moon Math Club, so they're going over elliptic curve algebra. Yeah, I think I'll be joining there. So they just started. So if anyone wants to join, it's very easy to get in right now because they have just started reading these things.
Okay, so online.
Yeah. I think I
Event?
posted the link. Yeah, so they meet every Tuesday and they discuss
Okay,
like the
okay.
yeah.
Every Tuesday.
I have. I think I have posted it on Telegram. Yeah, I think
Okay.
So they're
I'll
going
check it
over
out.
the algebraic group model and then elliptic curve.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So there is this Notion website I sent. Yeah, so you can check that out. Yeah.
All right. Can you post the link?
Yeah. It's in the Telegram. So if you go, okay, I'll just reference it. So there is a guy. There's this guy wearing the spacesuit on the moon.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah. Moonlight study group. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Harry, are you going to? Hey, Harry, how are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I shared that moon map. They have an ebook and shared to our WeChat group earlier.
Okay. Yeah. They are so they just started reading this book, so I think it's very easy. Yeah, I am interested in how elective cryptography works. So yeah, it's very good more insight. Yeah.
It's great. We also organize co-learning courses in Chinese community to learn JK learning that courses. It will be started next week. So I'm not sure I have time to learn this.
Okay. So what are you learning? Yeah, it's in Chinese, so I won't be able to understand. But what are you learning in that ZK?
I think the material is okay. It's jklearning.org. It's Dan Bonnet and that I can share the link. You should know.
Yeah. I know the MOOC link. Yeah. I thought you were talking about that. There is another co-learning group by Antalpha, right? The co-learning ZK group.
Which one?
The ZK co-learn by Damien.
Oh,
Yeah, Damien.
That's our group name. So the material we use is ZK learning.
Okay. So what are you learning in that group?
We start that from for every cohort will about one month. So before that, we will decide what we learn. So for this time we learn ZK learning. Last time we learn the blank.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. Yeah, I think we might. I think maybe for hyperplonk, I'll have to revisit the Plonk tutorials by Go. Yeah, I think I forgot like half of the stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good weekend, and
Yeah, you too.
see you next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
See you next time. Bye.
See you. Bye.